Oh yeah, and this video is not a paid review. I paid for this lens with my own money, and this is my own opinion. Thank you. Hello. This is just going to be a simple unboxing video of the Panasonic 12 to 35 millimeter f2.8 Mark II Lumix G X Vario lens for the Micro Four Thirds system. I'll do a full detailed review at a later date, but if anybody wants to know anything specific about this lens, just let me know in the comment sections and I'll try to get to that. But well, that's the lens. The lens there. See what we get. We get a lens hood, pedal design. I like the full lens hoods personally. They're a little bit better, but some people like these better. A little storage pouch to put the lens in. Some type of nylon material. Probably supposed to be waterproof, but it won't hold me to that. Okay, this is the lens. This one here has a constant aperture of 2.8 all through the entire zoom range from 12 millimeters to 35 millimeters. So if you start out at 2.8 at 12 millimeters and you zoom to 35 millimeter, it will remain at 2.8. So you don't have to do no refocus or anything like that. The other lenses are usually, most lenses are variable aperture, so which make them a little cheaper, but a fixed aperture is a little bit more expensive. This lens has got some pretty good weight to it. It's metal and plastic. The zoom ring is rubber coated. The focus ring is fly-by-wire. It feels more like plastic. This will be probably my permanent lens for my GH5. I don't like changing lenses because the dust and everything else get on this sensor. It's the only drawback of these cameras, dust. And it's good to put a lens filter just to protect the front element. I usually get a BMW filters for my cameras. They're usually pretty good quality. They're from Germany. They got some pretty good weight to them too, this glass does. I've got other lens filters from other manufacturers. Some of them I've had to return, send back to the mail because they come in with bubbles in the glass, or they look like scratches, but they're not scratches. I'll get you some specs on this real quick. But the full review, after I put it through its paces and see what it does. Specifications: focal length 12 millimeter to 35 millimeter, 35 millimeter film camera and equivalent, 24 millimeters to 70 millimeters. That's what it would be if it was a full frame sensor equivalent, but since this is Micro Four Thirds, it's actually 12 to 35 millimeter. It's just the standard for the gold standard to judge the sensor size is a 35 millimeter film. Cameras. The aperture type 7 diaphragm blade, circular aperture diaphragm, maximum aperture f2.8. That's going to let in a pretty good amount of lens, or the pretty good amount of light, but I would prefer to have something like a f1.7 or f1.4. That's going to let in a lot more light. But since this has got in-body image stabilization, and the camera, my GH5, has also got in-body image 5-axis in-body image stabilization, and the lens has got optical image stabilization, it can pretty much deal with darker situations. Minimum aperture value F2.8 II. Lens construction 14 elements in 9 groups. 4 aspherical lenses, 1 UED lens, and 1 HUR lens. The lens has got nano surface coating, which reduces flare from bright light sources, which is good. The in-focus distance is 0.25 meters to 0.82 meters to infinity, that's pretty decent. It's not a macro lens, but you can get down pretty far with it. Focus in on something. Maximum magnification 0.17 is the maximum image magnification. Optical image stabilizer available. OIS switch available. Mount micro 4/3. Angle of view 84 degrees wide to 34 degrees tele. Filter diameter 58 millimeters. 84 degrees is pretty good for landscape photography or even street photography. I do mostly street and landscape, and nature, which is actually good for me, but this camera will be probably mostly, not much handheld for it, but mostly mounted on a tripod for long exposures. Cool. And it works. And I will be doing a full review at a later date on this, but like I said, if anybody wants to know anything more specific about the lens and its capabilities, or any just let me know in the comments. Well, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.